Hey YouTube, it's Dimitri, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about the value of time in decision making and trying to think about this a little bit from a quant perspective of option pricing. So I'm not going to go too much down the rabbit hole, but in simple terms, financial options, which are a type of derivative, which is what quants do, some quants do. You're going to have the option to buy or sell something, and you're going to have what they call maturity, which is a time frame, so some sort of time. So for example, in a stock here, so say you have a long European stock, you have the option to exercise, meaning you have the option to buy that stock at a given price in the future. So say like in 3 months here. That time itself has value. So, stock price today, say is, I don't know, $50. You want that stock price to go up, but you're, willing to execute or buy that stock for $52 a share. In 3 months, you're hoping or expecting that the price will go above $52. And so let's say the price goes from $50 to $60, but you're able to buy it at $52. You're going to make an $8 profit. So that's kind of the idea of a financial option here. But let's give a real world example of something not finance related per se. And that was a subscriber that I've been working with on and off. I don't know how long now, for quite some time, mentioned, hey, I applied to grad school. I got into, let's say, program A, and I have a month to make a decision. Should I accept the decision today? That's kind of the question they're asking here. And I'm saying, okay, so let's take into a few factors and think about this from a logical perspective here. One, it's a pretty good program. It fits your background pretty well. It seems like a really good option. However, you have applied to other programs. So let's say programs B, C, and D are also good programs. My advice is, time has value. And since you get a month to make the decision for the program A that you already have been accepted to, I would wait and make the decision a few days before the deadline here. Why? Because time has value. All kinds of things can happen across time, and you may wish to make a different decision. So today you might say, okay, program A looks like the best option. I really do like the program. I'm going to hurry and write in and submit to go to program A. As soon as you do that, that locks you into program A. And yes, you can pay a fee to get out of your, agreements to go to that program. But essentially you have this value. They've given you value on this option contract, essentially, that you have an entire month to make the decision. So it is best to wait to make that decision, because you never know. A dream program that you apply to that you're like, there's no way I'm ever going to get into it, they might email you and say, hey, you got in. You wouldn't want to regret that. The other thing, which I think a lot of students don't realize for grad programs, let's say program A was, the best program you're probably going to get into, so you should just accept it. You might get into program B, which is just slightly not as good as program A, but you might have ended up with a lot better financial package. So say program A, you have to pay $70,000 per year to go there, for the whole program. So year and a half, 2 years. Program B, though, they might have given you like a 90% scholarship. So you're only having to pay like $7,000 for the whole program to go there. And so in that situation, now it makes it really tough. Okay, program A is slightly better than program B. Program B is dirt cheap in comparison to program A. So, what do you do at that point? So you can see here in this example, it's advantageous to wait. Now, the reason I say do it a few days before the deadline, though, is because you don't want to have technical difficulties. So say the deadline is like on a Monday and you sign in on like Sunday to do it, and you have a technical difficulty, and for some reason, like the system's not working or the server's down, and now you're, frantically panicking because maybe you didn't get into any other programs. And so you need to hurry and accept this. To avoid all this stress, I just cut back that value a little bit on your time decisioning. And I say, hey, do it a few days in advance just to give yourself somewhat of a buffer here. So that's kind of an example in decisioning and why I would wait to make this decision. Now, let me give you a few other little tidbits and I guess advice points here on what you should think about when making other decisions. So you can apply this option pricing theory and the value of time to many situations. In the grad school decisioning, though, the advantage here is that you actually have been accepted. They've thrown an offer out there. You have kind of an upper hand, right? You have the option to exercise this, and you hypothetically are guaranteed a position in here. Now, there are other decisions like on jobs, and this is where it gets a little dicier. So let's say you apply to a bunch of jobs, a company throws you an offer, and you have like, I don't know, say a week or 2 weeks to make it. Say 2 weeks, 2 weeks to make a decision here. And you're really hoping to work at firm B, the secondary firm. But firm A made this offer. If you wait for 2 weeks, you might put yourself in a bad position because grad school, when we talked about the grad school example here, you're one student of 30 or 50 or 100 or 200 students. So it's not really a personal one-on-one decision here. When a hiring manager makes you an offer for a job, they're going to be working with you one-on-one every single day here. So when a job offer goes out and someone has that opportunity and they wait until the very last second to do it, for the hiring manager, such as myself, I start to think like, you don't really want to work here. It's like, I really need a job and I want a job, but I really like this other firm better and it's the best option possible. And I'd rather do all these other things. You're kind of my backup plan. And so you can see in examples like with work, right? As an employer, I don't want to be your backup plan. I want you to like want to work for me. I want you to come here. I want you to have the want to be a part of this firm and this venture and the job offer that we're making here. So when people do that, or they kind of show their cards and say, well, I had these other offers and I really would like to work somewhere else, but I'm waiting on them. That basically burns the bridge for a lot of people. And so offers that were even made can get rescinded, where firms and companies can say, you know what, I made the offer, I gave you 2 weeks. You kind of sound like you don't want to do it, so you can actually rescind that offer. So that's an example where you'd want to be extremely careful on, trying to utilize the maximum amount of time on a decision-making process here. So you can kind of see it plays in your favor. You can kind of apply this to dating games as well. If you think about this from a individual perspective with like the employer example, imagine you ask someone out on a date, and again, there's no time frame in this example. So you could say yes or no, and you can kind of play with the timing. Again, if you start extending that time frame out here, you think you have value. It actually works the opposite. The other candidate or the other party here has the time value. You don't. You don't really realize that. But, when they ask you out and then you sit and you wait, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, like they're obviously thinking you ghosted them, you left. And then if you come back and say, oh yeah, I'd love to go on a date with you, it's going to kind of burn you because, you kind of wasted your opportunity here, but kind of showing your cards, you're not really interested in that person. So anyways, those are my 2 cents on trying to apply financial valuation theory here. So quantitative perspective on life to your real world. So anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And as always, until next time.